What began with men hurled from a window in Prague would end with Europe itself thrown into a new order. For 30 long years, kingdoms bled, villages burned, and millions perished. This is the 30 Years' War, a conflict born of faith but consumed by power. The story begins in Bohemia. In 1618, tensions boiled over. Ferdinand II, a zealous Catholic, demanded uniformity. The Protestant nobles of Bohemia answered with defiance and violence. The Defenestration of Prague, a single act of rebellion, lights the fuse.
Prague, 1618. A city divided by faith and power. For decades, Protestants and Catholics lived uneasily under the rule of the Holy Roman Emperor. Promises of religious freedom were crumbling, and tempers flared. The new emperor, Ferdinand II, a devout Catholic, sought strict uniformity of religion. For the Protestants of Bohemia, this was a betrayal. Their rights, once guaranteed, now lay in ruins. On May 23rd, the Protestant nobles stormed Prague Castle. In the council chamber, they confronted two imperial governors, Jaroslav Martinic and Wilhelm Slavata, along with their secretary, Philip Fabricius. Accusations flew. Words turned to threats. Then came action. Seized by force, the Catholic governors were dragged to the windows of the castle. And then, defiance turned to violence. The men fell nearly 70 feet. Miraculously, they survived. Catholics would claim they were saved by angels. Protestants sneered it was a dung heap that broke their fall. What seemed like a local act of fury lit the fuse for a continent-wide conflict. The defenestration of Prague was no mere brawl. It was the spark that ignited the 30 Years' War. One act of rebellion, one fall from a window, plunged Europe into 3 decades of war, destruction, and suffering.
Imagine the visuals: angry nobles hurling officials from towering windows, church bells ringing as Europe braces for conflict. Officially, it was about religion, Catholics versus Protestants. But beneath the surface, it was about power, territory, and survival. German princes, Swedish kings, Spanish Habsburgs, and even Catholic France all jumped in. Allies shifted constantly. Today's friend could be tomorrow's enemy. And in Bohemia, the rebellion was swiftly crushed by Habsburg power.
They call me the Winter King. For one brief season, I wore the crown of Bohemia. At White Mountain, Ferdinand crushed us. My reign, like the snow, melted away.
God favors the faithful, Bohemia bows, and the Catholic order stands eternal.
Danish phase. King Christian IV of Denmark tried to protect the Protestants, but his armies were crushed by the ruthless General Wallenstein.
My army pays for itself. We take what we need: grain, gold, or lives. Mercy is weakness. Fear will feed us.
His ruthless methods broke Denmark's armies, but his ambition frightened even Ferdinand. Dismissed, recalled, and distrusted, Wallenstein's loyalty was as uncertain as the war itself. From the north came salvation for Protestants: Gustavus Adolphus of Sweden, the Lion of the North. With mobile cannon and brilliant tactics, he turned the tide until his death in battle.
My cannons are swift, my soldiers disciplined. Far go for freedom. Germany shall not fall to tyranny.
At Lutzen, the Titans clashed. Gustavus fell in battle, but his army triumphed. A victory shadowed by tragedy. French phase. Catholic France shocked Europe by joining the Protestant side. Religion gave way to pure politics. Religion was no longer the war's heart. Power was. And the greatest twist of all, Catholic France siding with Protestant enemies, simply to weaken the Habsburgs.
Yes, I am a servant of the Church, but France must come first. Better a divided empire than a united one under Habsburg rule. Balance, not unity, will preserve Europe.
French troops march to join Swedes. The war drags on, longer, bloodier. Villages torched, armies living off the land, stealing food, spreading famine and plague. Civilians suffered the most. Germany's population dropped by 20–30%.
We do not care for emperors or kings. We care for bread. Yet armies take it, plague steals it, famine finishes the rest. They say a third of Germany is gone. I say it feels like more.
In 1648, exhausted and broken, Europe made peace. The Peace of Westphalia redrew the map. Princes could choose their religion, states were sovereign, beyond outside meddling. The Holy Roman Empire's dream of unity was finished. France rose, Spain faded, and a new system was born, one that still shapes the world today. The 30 Years' War, a tragedy of faith, turned into a struggle for power, leaving Europe scarred, but transformed. From the ashes rose the modern state. But for those who lived it, there was no glory, only survival. If you want more stories of history's greatest turning points, subscribe to Histoscript, where every standard has a story, and we bring it to life.
Thanks for watching Histoscript. If you learned something new today, or just love the hidden side of history, give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story your textbook skipped. History isn't just dates, it's secrets, myths, and the strange truths behind it all. Stay curious. Stay tuned.